All right, everybody, welcome to Magic Talk. There's 4 of us here.
There is.
Is that why you're so excited?
Grandpa, Dad. Who are you?
I guess I'm the stepson.
Junior.
I'm the redheaded stepchild, right?
Yeah, that's great. So today's edition of Magic Talk is presented by Pepsi. No, it's not. If anything, it would be Dr. Pepper.
I beg to differ.
Oh, no. Not this debate again.
You gonna pull out your water? So, all right, we got an interesting show for you. We're going to talk about to think or not to think, and I will explain from there right after this.
Rough Edge FM. Irritatingly irresistible internet radio at roughedgefm.com.
The art of magic is mystery, majesty, pageantry, and craft. It's also about history, marketing, networking, and more. All of these topics and others are discussed on Magic Talk with your hosts, renowned magician James Lantiegne and owner of the White Rabbit Magic Shop, Joshua Lantiegne. Now on Rough Edge FM.
All right,
we're back.
So we are back, and it's all 4 of us still.
Yeah, no one left this time.
That's really cool.
We didn't lose anybody.
Yeah. So the topic for today is to think or not to think. And what I mean by that is, should you be thinking as a magician or not thinking as a magician as you are preparing your...
Wait a minute, but
magic.
we're all magicians.
I know.
How are we supposed to not think like a magician?
This is where this comes from.
Can I have context? I was going to ask, actually.
Yes.
It feels like there's more context to this
There is a
question.
little bit. So
What's the context?
We got into a fist fight, him and I. He lost.
Oh, that's what that is.
Never would I lose.
Oh!
He lets you win, is what he's telling you.
Yeah.
He's telling you he lets you win.
He might lose at blackjack, or not blackjack, at backgammon, but
I don't lose at blackjack either.
I don't either. So
I do.
Yeah. So I have to think about that. Anyway, so I think this is mainly a problem in Southern California. I do not think this is a problem throughout the United States. Now, what I'm talking about is when you go to present something in Southern California, we as magicians tend to think a lot about like a magician, because oftentimes other magicians are seeing what we do.
So making problems that could arise based off of the skepticism of another magician. Is that what you're talking about?
Are there any easy examples that you might be able to give?
I can. So, when you're doing, let's say, a certain vanish of an object, and if you're using... Actually, let me back this up. I'll take it to our discussion. One of the tricks that has been around for a while are these.
Where did that come from?
The multiplying bottles. Now, it tends to be one of those things where it surfaces, then it disappears for a while, and it resurfaces. But a certain somebody was talking about how this trick is overdone. Too many people have seen it, blah, 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 blah. And in anywhere else in the United States, how many people really go to see a magic show? I mean, there are people that actually exist in this world that have never seen a magic trick. Not a magic trick, but an actual live show.
And if they have seen a show, it's more than likely even been on TV or something, let alone just even a live magic show. Then the numbers are even fewer.
Right.
I see. Yeah.
So in California, Southern California to be more specific, when you go and you perform one of those tricks, it's like, oh, it's been everybody's doing it. It's been seen 100 times. And yeah, to another magician, it's been seen 100 times. But to the lay audience, have they really experienced it 100 times? Another example, I do the invisible deck at every single show. I've been doing it since I was 15 years old, because when I saw Harry Blackstone Jr., he performed the invisible deck on stage at the Schubert Theater in Boston. Huge theater. comes out with a little tiny deck of cards. Out of everything he did, I can tell you verbatim how he did the invisible deck as far as the performance was concerned. I can't tell you how he vanished the elephant because I don't remember. I just remember there's an elephant on stage. I don't remember what the apparatus was or anything like that. And I can tell you what she was wearing, but that's for another reason. His assistant.
I thought you meant the elephant. I was like, we're learning so much here.
Yeah. So anyways, to this day, I still perform the invisible deck, and I would still perform it in front of, even if there were magicians in the audience, because I think it's an amazing effect. And to a lay audience, it's still mind-boggling. And it's one of those things that even if somebody might even remotely know about the invisible deck, you can perform it in a way where they don't even think of it as being the invisible deck.
Plus, it takes up no pocket space because it's invisible.
He's just thinking like a magician now.
Wow.
Comic relief. The redheaded stepchild.
Wait, is he not right?
He is right. Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go.
So I mean, you're
funny about it.
You're kind of excluding the whole, like, okay, we're going to do it this way because it's slight and it's not using a gimmick or anything like that.
No, that's included.
Okay, because that in that sense, there's a lot of talk like that too. Okay? The proverbial running when you're not being chased type of deal.
Right.
As a magician performing for anybody else.
Right. But when you think of a magician, you start to run
a little bit
because you're being chased.
Because you feel like, I mean, there's more of a sense of feeling like you're being chased, but there's always everybody else goes and says, don't do it. Just people aren't going to know. Or if they do know, who's going to care? It was the big deal, at least what I keep getting told. But
all right. So
that's what I was trying, where my head went originally. You're going and saying, don't worry if
it's a broad subject.
Yeah. Okay.
So Doug, have you ever performed in front of
just like the elephant?
What about my elephant?
Let's not talk about the elephant anymore.
Yeah. Let's keep the elephant in the closet.
You had a question?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Have you ever performed for a mixed audience where you had a significant amount of magicians as well as lay people?
Okay, there
I certainly have. But before I respond to that, I just want to congratulate you on your book because it just came out.
It did.
That's right.
And I want to, it's pretty amazing and everybody should take a look at it.
Absolutely.
Just trying to throw that out there.
Thank
Do
you.
we have it? Can we show it?
We do.
Well, let's do that. Let's,
maybe
not right now, but, but yeah, I think it's a pretty amazing.
Well,
book.
if you were following the show, you would have seen the book last week.
Is that right?
Yeah.
We're not seeing
But Doug wasn't here to give you the accolades, man.
Yeah.
How's that?
Congratulations on this
Here, Joey.
coming out.
Go to number 1.
Is that better?
So, yeah.
Pretty cool. That's
And
pretty cool.
you know what else I did at last week's show? I read the foreword.
Oh, well, there you go.
So
I was proud to be asked to write the foreword for this book.
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a great book.
So we read that on the air.
Oh,
But
nice.
thank you for repitching that.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
I didn't know that you had done that already. But back to the question. Yes, I have performed it for the layman end as well.
Where it's a mixed audience.
Where it's a mixed audience. When our discussion came up last week or whenever it was, it's more about and by the way,
It was actually yesterday, by the way, Doug.
I went to the doctor yesterday and I came home and told my wife, hey, the doctor gave me a clean bill of health. There's no issue with Alzheimer's. And she said, oh, that's great. But you told me that an hour ago. So anyway, okay, so it was yesterday.
Yeah.
But what I was saying is the statistics of how magic has improved in the last 10 years it's mind-boggling here in the United States, well, worldwide, Germany and France, all these other places, how it's grown in a big way. It hasn't decreased, but there were many years where it did decrease for people watching and wanting to go and pay money to see a magician. What I was referring to as far as that is a lot of people still think, oh, it's the guy with the tails and the top hat. cups and balls and balloon animals, things like that. That's what a lot of the people think about when they see when they don't go see magicians. So I guess my opinion about that is I try to change that in my shows anyway, when I do shows for people that really don't see it, so they can go, wow, I've never even expected to see that. So that's
right.
That's where I'm coming from with it.
And
so that being said, I think more like an audience member. I try to think more like an audience member than a magician. So
when you're preparing so in the case of a mixed audience, you have magicians and audiences or lay people. You're not worried about trying to necessarily fool. If you fool them, great, but that's not your goal. Your goal is to entertain the lay audience.
My goal is to perform whatever the trick or whatever it is, just perform it well. That's the only goal.
Right.
I don't care who's watching.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're not worried about trying to go, oh, I got to fool them.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So, and I've always said that with the lay audience, even it's like, I don't care if I fool you.
Right.
Were you entertained?
Right.
So how about you?
Yeah, I'm along the same lines. I tend to kind of think it's weird. I try to think a little bit like both, but as far as a magician, I try to think more of an actual magician who could really do magic. That's the kind of stuff I like to try to think about how I would actually present something, because I feel like when you explain magic to a lay audience and being a magician and they've never seen magic before, in their minds, that's kind of what they're starting to see. Like someone who can really do magic and what that might actually look like. They're not imagining a guy doing a very procedural card trick and saying, okay, reshuffle this. Now give me 3 piles and we're going to take that pile and move that pile around and to find a card. They're possibly imagining magic that they've seen in a movie, something floating or something changing. So when I'm coming up with routines, I'm trying to think, if I was a master of the universe, would I do it like this? And if the answer is no, then I'm really not attracted to that idea and that method of doing it in my magic.
The mic is blocking my profile.
Oh, here, let's hear. We can give you a nice highlight with the Pepsi.
Okay.
It really, guys, it contrasts.
I feel like I'm coming out in hives.
Oh my God. Goosebumps for sure.
No, not goosebumps. They're hives.
Oh, okay.
It's not a doctor.
That's so funny.
So how about you, Josh?
Whatever I'm doing, I better fool the pants off of you.
Really? No.
No, you don't think so?
No.
Well,
I don't think that's your stance.
I don't know. Whenever I see you do magic, my pants are always on, sir.
Well,
I've only lost my pants twice.
hey, at least
that was for a completely different reason.
In fact, I've only seen you twice. Wow.
Well, actually, I suppose I take the thing more in the sense that it's not. I'm not treating, or at least when I'm coming up with things, it's not like I am thinking like a magician would, but in the sense that my presentation, it has to have something that is inspired by something else. Like you were saying, a story was the deal. I actually remember there is the lectures that they have, the at the table lectures from Murphy's Magic. They got 2, one from Joshua J, and they also have one from Darwin Ortiz, and they were talking about inspirations and stuff that they use to inspire their magic tricks.
To inspire the audience or to
the magic tricks?
Okay.
The magic trick itself, because the story kind of comes along with it, but it's mainly for the magic trick itself. The thing that was said by Joshua J is he feels real guilty when he doesn't study magic all the time. Like he literally feels guilty about it, and he feels like he can't read or watch anything else because it's like I feel like I'm not giving the craft enough attention. Whereas Darwin Ortiz said, read and watch whatever you want. As whatever inspires you, whatever you like, read it and watch it, because it will carry into your magic tricks. So, I mean, when I do my things, I'm trying to find inspiration, which it goes along with the storytelling aspect that you guys were talking about, where it's like I want to go and make a story that's compelling and everything like that. And so I'm not necessarily looking to say here's a magic trick per se, but here's this presentation that is inspired by this, and look, it is freaking magical. And yes, I do try to fool people a lot of the time.
How dare you?
It's talking about inspiration. It's kind of like your tape measure trick. That was inspired by your career.
Yeah.
Right.
No, what, yes or no? Sorry.
Well, Mike, I'm not sure how. Say that again. My career inspired
measure,
that trick.
Yeah, because you were talking about being precise and your measurements had to be exact, and
that's part of the dialogue for that trick.
But did that not inspire?
That didn't inspire that trick. What inspired that trick was that I'm working on movie sets all the time, and all the grips and all these people, they have a tape measure right on their hip, so it's an easy thing to, hey, can I borrow that? And all day long in between takes, I'm doing magic. That's what I do when I'm on a film, and that was the inspiration.
So yeah.
So it was your career.
I guess so.
Thank you.
It's kind of.
But which career are you talking about? You're talking about the movie career. Okay. Yes.
It's not necessarily magic that it was inspired the whole thing. It was something else.
Yeah.
That inspired the thing.
Which is what I said originally.
But I mean, that's kind of when I'm thinking like a magician, I'm thinking that I'm not necessarily thinking, okay, am I going to do this because it's been done too many times, or am I going to do this? I'm more thinking about how do I incorporate magic into this?
Well, I guess another way to think about it or to look at it is, let's say you have a trick that you can do that's incredibly sleight intensive, but they have a gimmick that will allow you to not have to worry about all those sleights.
Is it made by TCC?
Good point. Let's just say for the record, it's not.
Oh, okay. Sweet.
So
I love you, TCC.
Their QC department is lacking sometimes. But anyway, so you have this slight intensive routine that you could use a gimmick on, and it would make life incredibly a lot safer and more simple because you're not having to do all this knuckle busting stuff.
So safer in the sense of you're not going to get burned.
Yeah. So there are some magicians who will absolutely positively say, absolutely not. Do not use that trick deck. You learn the knuckle busting sleight of hand and you perform it that way. There are other people that will say, my issue is more in the performance value. And if I'm not worrying about all this knuckle busting stuff, I can concentrate more on the performance and deliver a great show. And nobody in the audience is going to care because they don't know how it was done in the first place. Mm-hmm. They don't know if I'm using a gimmick, not using it. They have no idea, except for the magician who's in the audience. Mm-hmm. So the question is, do we care if they care?
Here's the way I look at that. I would rather be the guy that invented the new method.
The gimmick.
Yeah, I'd rather be that guy than to use a gimmick. I'd like to, there are things that we all do where we are getting magic kits and things like that. We're performing other people's magic.
Yeah.
But I truly, truly, truly try to boil things down to where I'm coming up with my own sleights. So I'm not a garage or a cover band for other magicians. So that being said, yes, I would love to be the person that actually invented that or came up with the new method, rather than, if I've learned it and I've spent years and years knuckle busting, as you put it, to perform something, I don't know if I'm going to give that up.
Right.
So
well, if you mastered it, no problem.
Yes.
But if you were deciding which way to go.
Sure. If there was a new method, and it would depend on what it is.
Yeah.
100%.
So we heard from Professor Magoo
Well, my thing is this: if the person who's spending the time with the knuckle busting stuff, if they're spending as much time focusing on learning how to present it, you know what I mean? I could care less either way, right? But it tends to be the case that I've noticed a lot of the people that focus on very knuckle busting card routines or any routine for that matter, it tends to be a little less connection with people, and it's very it tends to like prevent a connection.
It's
with
almost creating a barrier.
almost creating a barrier. Thank you.
Yeah.
Between them, and when you're able to use something to bear that load, so to speak,
Right.
you can now give your attention fully. I guess I'm bringing light to this topic.
Is it starting to rain?
Right? Is it,
I think
it
it's
allows
there.
you to relax and open up and try to create more of that opportunity for connection. Right. So, because I've seen some very amazing, I'm not naming any names because I'm not trying to bury myself here, but I've seen some very amazing big names at perform that I could swear if the room was empty, it would be performed the exact same way.
Right.
Right. And it's amazing stuff, but they're not really taking that time to understand that we're all together right now. And this audience is different from the last audience, and to even take time to figure out how or why and how you might be able to use that to enhance this moment, this opportunity, right?
So it's
See, it's the red light. Yeah.
I think that person you were just speaking of is sending you a message.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's they're not using the energy of the room.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I suppose in that regard too, you have to, whether or not you're going to use the said gimmick or whether or not you're going to use the sleight, it would be important to. But we talked about this before, where I think it's important for you to learn both anyway, because you need to respect the craft and the people who put the work in already. But maybe there's moments where you don't need the sleight. You can go with the gimmick itself. And maybe there's other moments where it would behoove you more to use the sleight. Because like, for example, you're going in, you're performing at the Magic Castle. You might want to try to use the sleight of hand because of your audience. You know, you're going to be more, it gives way to more of the knuckle busting, whereas
social acceptance.
Yeah, like that. You know, you're trying to go and just know your audience per se.
Now, what would be fun is to actually use the gimmick at the castle, and then when members ask you if you're using a gimmick, you say no, and you show them the knuckle busting way. But I've been doing it this whole time. What are you talking about? And then when they stay and see your next show, they're like, no, I'm pretty no.
See, that's another
best of both worlds.
I think we've talked about that.
Now
before,
that's
too.
thinking like a magician.
Oh yeah, see,
Very manipulative.
I think
That's what we do.
I think we talked about that before too, where it's super fun to fool a magician because all you have to do is change one thing.
Just do it not like a magician.
Exactly, and then
Yeah, we've talked about that.
pull the pants off of them.
It's funny. This guy was using he was doing like an ace routine, and he was using gimmicked aces, but he was doing it like he was doing the Elmsley count and everything like that. And he really wasn't. So the whole time, everybody's going, "Oh, he did an Elmsley. Oh, he did an Elmsley."
And it wasn't.
And then all of a sudden, he drops and they're like, "What the heck?"
Like,
I love that. I love
no!
telegraphing to magicians that you're doing it the way they've seen a million times,
Yep.
and it's not.
Yep.
I was telling you that story.
I'll do that. I'll
There
do
you go.
that with the JW for a couple of coin slides. I actually a little top of the coin, but then I'll hold it a little, and then nope. Hey!
That's right.
That's how you fool a magician.
All right, we're going to take a little break from this discussion, and I believe Joshua, you have an item of the week.
I do.
What's it called?
This one is called Easy Tones.
Easy Tones.
Is it good? Should I buy it? Does it suck? Did I get ripped off? Is it more of a craft project than a magic trick? These questions and more answered now on the Magic
You
Item
should
of
show
the
the
Week
cover. There you go.
here on
I
Magic
was gonna
Talk.
say it's a little confusing because it says easy tones, but the cards say something else.
All right, are we looking at the table? Okay, so
Easy
this
tones.
is from Murphy Studios, which is not the one who created this, Josh.
This one
It's
is
a hazy mystery.
actually the instruction by Craig Petty.
Okay.
It's
So
good Lord.
he cooperated with them or whatever, but
Yeah. it's
There's no
about-
name on the box anywhere, huh?
nope, just Murphy Studios.
Well, gotta contact your marketing team, man.
Yeah.
Maybe they created it.
Maybe they did. Maybe it's just
Yeah.
straight Murphys.
So tell us a little bit about this effect.
So Easy Tones is actually it's a collaboration of different things. It's a mentalism style deck of cards, but they are done. The cards themselves are what you would expect to be color swatches. Oh, is that okay? So they're color swatches, and they have different colors on them and different names to these swatches.
For those people that don't know, what is a color swatch?
If you go to Home
You're
Depot
looking at it.
and you go to the paint department, you know what a color swatch is because it has all the different colors on it.
So if I want to paint my room,
Yes, and this is what you would go and say, here, I want this
If you're
color.
in third grade, you've never heard of a color swatch.
what third graders are painting their rooms?
But yes,
Oh, we're gonna have a pool party.
so this is actually kind of like a gaff deck of cards where you have some cards that are just straight color swatches. They have the different names and the different colors and everything like that. And then they also have cards that will help you facilitate a Gemini twins trick with this.
Right.
And then it also has a kind of
You
like
remember the Gemini twins in Bangkok?
We can't talk about that,
Trying
Jim.
to forget. Thanks for bringing that up.
That is a wild story.
so yeah, it has cards for that. If any, but for those who know, they know what I'm talking about. And then it also has like Zener cards, you have things for a match type of trick where you've got words on the card themselves, and then through a series of mixing and shuffling, you're able to go and have the cards laid down by the spectator, by the magician, and then they magically match. They also have it where they match up to pictures, and then they also have with this one particularly, they are marked. So this is the
marking is on the back somewhere.
It's very deceptive, actually. If you don't know, it is very hard to find.
So study that card.
And you are able to go.
Study that card. They're actually marked.
It's the ones that are the obviously not those ones. Go a little further, it would be
That's a heart.
these guys, because it's the ones that have the different names.
Got it.
But it is actually really cool. This one, like I said, it is
Clever.
Are you following it?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
and then this one. What they have are
So it's these guys.
a series of mentalist types of tricks that you can do with this deck of cards. You have about 5 hours of instruction from Craig Petty, which is good. He goes over everything when he does his instructions. It's like a whole movie with when he goes over it.
5 hours is a little longer than a movie.
Well, yes, but nowadays you've seen the movies before. It's like
Worked on a couple.
yeah, it's like 5 hour movies. It's a standard right
It's
now.
it's a trilogy.
Yeah.
So
Maybe back
all
in
right.
the 80s, but
So how much is the deck?
This one is $35.
$35.
Yep.
And you can get it at your White Rabbit friendly neighborhood magic store.
Your favorite friendly neighborhood magic store.
Your favorite.
It's my favorite.
See?
So
Doug! Come on!
Yeah.
Of course, it's my
One
favorite.
Way
you
to
had one
go.
opportunity. You had one line.
Way to go.
Just one line.
I loved your book.
It was just one line.
What do you like about White Rabbit Magic? Oh, they got a good book. Anything else? No. I'm trying to think about it.
For our listening audience, we'll take the you two gentlemen. out of all the magic shops you've been to and everything like that, would you say that White Rabbit Magic is a shop that you should, it's a destination you should make the 2-hour drive and come see the shop?
Of course.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Is it always a 2-hour drive from wherever you are in the world?
Well, yeah, if you're 5 minutes away, it could take you 2 hours.
It takes me 8 hours to get here.
8
every
hours?
time.
Yeah. Wow.
So
Traffic is
100%.
bad, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, we absolutely. It's a great shop. I was so stoked when I actually found you guys. I had no idea you were here. And when I found you, it was absolutely amazing.
we found you.
Indeed. I thought I recognized you. You were that guy that kept walking by my house.
By the way, 2 years ago, I was working in Ireland, Ireland and in somewhere over there. Did I tell you my wife? I came home the other day. The first magic shop in Europe. I went to it.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And it's still existing, and it's run by a great-granddaughter now.
Nice.
Great-granddaughter. But I went in there, and the point being is I've been to a lot of magic shops all over the world, fortunately. And yes, this is the destination. And I'm surprised more people, the word's got to get out there more.
I agree.
Because I know so many people, where do you get your stuff? Up in, White Rabbit. I've never heard of it. But it's growing and growing and growing.
It is growing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy to be helping with that.
We fortunately, we're starting to recognize a lot more online sales.
Yeah.
We had a guy yesterday ordered some purses from us. And so most of the time people will call us up or they'll send us an email saying, you guys really have these in stock? Because they'll go to a store and they'll put it in the cart and then we'll say out of stock.
Yes.
Or they'll order it and then they get a phone call saying it's out of stock. So when they see some of this stuff, it's like, I've been looking all over the place for these purses, this special kind of purse. And you guys are the only ones that have them. Do you really have them?
Yes.
And I said, yes, we do. And he's like, that's incredible. And so we're starting to, that's how we're getting recognized a lot, is by the things that are hard to find in other places. A lot of times we have them, except for Rocket.
Yeah.
So
Well, we did have that one. Another person thought it was just as cool, and they bought it before you did.
I know where you can get it.
Yeah. So somebody was just at Tannen's a little while ago and took some pictures of the inside of the store. They really neatened up their shop.
Yeah, I was just there a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
And they do it's nice. It's small.
Yeah.
It's smaller than this. But they've got it all, set up. And they do have lectures in the middle of the room, and they have a show on Wednesday nights that magicians come and perform.
Yeah, and the thing that when I went to go see them would have been in the 80s.
Oh yeah,
it was
like a warehouse upstairs.
Yeah, it was a mess.
Yeah,
and so they really took inspiration from us, and
Of course.
Who hasn't?
Yeah, I know. Must be. So what's been going on in your life?
Just trying to keep moving on. There's been some family things that have gone on that are life changing. So I'm just trying to,
and kind of absorbing yourself into magic. That isn't that a nice?
Yeah, it's been that way all my life. It's a place where I can go where that's what I'm focusing on. Not that you're trying to run from anything, but it's just a place where you wake up being very creative, like, oh, what about this?
Right.
And you have an outcome. And then you got to figure out how to get to that outcome that you come up with. So,
it's a happy distraction.
Yeah.
And so Doug and I are actually working on a show that we want to present in the Peller as well as in
Let's go.
Illusions. And it will promise to be a pretty unique show. So a lot of stuff that he's creating and I'm just following.
That's not true. It's a collaborative effort, all done by me.
Yeah. Exactly. So how about you? So you're a new member now at the castle. You've been going regularly.
Yes, sir.
How does that feel?
Great. Home away from home.
Great. Thanks for the dialogue.
That's it. Yeah, no, it's been awesome. Now though, it's been good, and it's starting to become a little bittersweet though, because now I don't have the motivation of the audition anymore. And I really need to focus on, and I've talked to you about this before, really getting like a 45 minute show together so that I can get hired, so that if somebody's actually interested, I can get booked. Because right now I could do like a solid 20 minutes, but not, I don't feel confident carrying a show for much longer. So that's been my motivation now, is to really, and it's kind of weird because as far as inspiration, you're talking about waking up and feeling inspired. My inspiration comes at like the most random times. And so sometimes when I get inspiration for something, I don't have the opportunity to jump on it. And then when I have the opportunity to jump on something, I don't have the inspiration. So, right. So I've been kind of wrestling around with that, but I do have an upcoming show with you. Actually, we're going to be working with Sharpo at Le Chien coming up, the French restaurant in Santa Clarita for New Year's Eve. So that's going to be exciting. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then 2025, man.
I'll be bringing my backdrops and my lighting.
That's that's all. Actually, that's really funny because I was gonna buy a spotlight for the show.
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna bring my theater.
I was literally looking at one because the show was great, the last one we did, but it really needed some lighting. It really needed some lighting. So that's fantastic. That's all. Well, I'm glad, because I would have just bought the thing.
I have theater lighting trees, and I have a spotlight too. But the lighting trees
we'll do the trick. Yeah. I didn't want to go crazy, so I figured if we had to get one thing, at least a spot onto the stage and backdrop would have been nice, because like Stoli and Ekaterina were there, and they're doing their quick change routine and stuff, and a lot of really cool outfits that really need some sort of lighting to really make them pop. You know what I mean? And
they did their quick change there.
Some stuff. Yeah, it was really cool. It was a good show.
Wow, that's
old school.
That's a small
old school show.
Little performance space too.
Mm-hmm.
So for such a big production kind of thing like that.
I like the way you were going on about that. Oh, I was thinking about getting a spot. Like, oh, don't trouble yourself. I'm going to bring mine.
Oh, yeah, no, this guy's got all the gear, man.
That was funny.
Yeah. You go ahead and buy that little spot. I'll bring the big boy toys.
Okay. Okay.
Oh,
so this Friday we're going to be at Gunsmoke. We're going to be doing some strolling from 5 to 7 o'clock. Hey, if you come, bring some couple tricks.
Okay, yeah, I'll see.
You can stroll too.
Yeah, that'll be cool. That's funny. Raven's gonna be doing strolling on Thursday too. Everybody's working right now. I love it. It's amazing.
Where's Raven gonna be at?
A Mexican food spot, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, if I remember correctly.
So, Doug, you want to stroll?
I'll be out of town that day.
No,
he's got things to do. He's a busy guy.
So, like how he's just ready to drop this whole show, like it meant nothing to him. Oh, right now, yeah, we'll leave.
That's not true.
Thanks, by the way.
Yeah.
A deck of cards I wanted to talk about. If he'll get to it.
All right, we'll do our PCAA.
There is an outbreak among us. It is limited to only a small portion of our population. They have a sickness. They have an addiction. They collect bicycle playing cards, which is bad for them, but great for us because we have almost 500 decks of playing cards to choose from. They'll go crazy in here. They'll spend every last penny they... This is their story. This is Playing Cards Anonymous here on Magic Talk.
They're up here talking like our mics are getting automatically muted, but they don't.
It's like a newscaster. You know how they go and they're saying, all right after this, and then they start talking to people like, oh yeah, that whole nonsense.
And sometimes they forget that their mics are still on and they say some other things.
That's the funniest part.
The bloopers.
Oh yeah.
Oh, these aren't bloopers. These are like full
lawsuits.
I will never forget.
Blooper lawsuit.
Yeah.
I will never forget
Same
when Obama was signing the insurance healthcare bill.
Oh God.
And Biden was behind him. And after they finished signing the bill, he stood up and Biden said a few expletives about what this was all about, forgetting that his mic was still on.
Oh, wow. That was funny.
Yeah, it was. So, all right. So this is the vintage deck.
Yep, this bicycle branded. It's actually a what do you call this? The collectibles card company. You remember those?
Yep.
They go and they make a bunch of different illustrated decks. This one is an aged deck of cards. So each
Yeah, it
card,
has almost a vintage look to it.
well, I mean, I wonder why.
I have decks like sitting in a box like this.
Yeah, you sell these cards, Jim.
No, I mean I have like old decks that are sitting in a box that look like
Just like that?
So
So authentic is what you're saying. It's
yeah.
it's pretty accurate.
if you want a vintage deck of bicycle cards that look
Well,
like
not
yours,
everybody has your, let's just say, tenure, Jim.
You know what? I want to say, with that in mind, it looks cool. It feels like crap. This looks cool, and this feels pretty good to
I
operate
thought you
the.
were saying why were we showing a deck that feels like
Yeah, I thought that.
No.
That's why I was like, what?
No, not this one. The one that he was talking about. I mean, it's been exposed.
You
to
hear
too much
that? He's getting into
moisture.
your card collection.
I know.
You just self-reported, son.
She's not leaving it out.
Beautiful.
But this one, it has a broken border.
Oh, it's broken. Can we fix it?
I mean, if you want to.
You have to take him to a card mechanic.
See, that was a good one. Now, yes, you got
Why is
that.
it whenever he starts talking, those lights light
There's a little. Really.
up red?
So yeah, you got the top and the bottom, and also side to side. And when you fan, makes for a good fan. They ferrule really nice from the back.
They're nice and smooth.
They are. But cards from the collectible playing card company, or the collectibles.com, they actually feel really nice. And they're made in a relatively limited quantity. So they tend to become collectible, hence the name. But they do a lot of that, where it's the broken border or the borderless types of stuff. And they have,
Look, they're blank.
they are primarily illustrated, a lot of them.
I don't see any illustrations on any of them.
What a ripoff.
Wow, you've messed them up.
Yeah.
I saw it earlier.
But I like the way this feels. It feels smooth, like you're talking about. Feels smooth. It furrows from the back nicely, and I think I would use this as a worker deck.
And how much is this deck?
This is $10.
All right.
Wow, that's
It's a good steal for it too.
reasonable.
You know what we should do a show on next?
What's that?
The advantages and disadvantages of being a left-handed magician.
Oh my gosh, all disadvantages, because there's
No.
no tricks made for you.
No, look at this. Okay. So as a left-handed magician, if I wanted to do like a corner peek, right? You have to, for a right-handed person, let me do it this way. So for a left-handed person, what am I trying to say?
The difference between a left-handed and a right-handed person doing this lift.
Oh, see, we can get a corner peek, not very well with this one, but we can get a corner peek off the deck.
Mhm.
So just by giving it a little break. If you guys are doing it right-handed and you tried to do that same corner peek,
It's a blank corner.
it's blank.
You wouldn't do that trick.
Yeah, we don't like that one.
Yeah.
Righties, that's a lefty
Do
thing.
that.
So I have to, when I fan my cards, I have to fan them from the bottom up.
He has to do a reverse fan.
Looks good though.
Yeah.
Because
Looks
you're
great.
left-handed.
Yes.
And if I do a regular fan, my bottom up fan looks beautiful. If I don't say so myself.
But you're
Mhm.
ambidextrous, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly. He can't
Mostly.
write with his right hand worth of crap.
Okay.
Well, if I would have practiced. But my top fan is not quite as pretty as my bottom one.
Still looks pretty good, man.
So
Yeah.
Well,
It looks great.
all right, so $10.
$10.
All right.
Well worth it. You should get it. It actually is practical, and looks really good when you're doing a performance.
Nice.
Or will look pretty good. I haven't used it yet.
I would have bought these right now, but I lost $10 playing backgammon before this.
You want to play them again?
No, $100.
Double or nothing.
$10.
It was $10 to me, $100 to you. I specifically remember.
Do you?
All right. Any last words?
I just thanks for having this. Thanks for having this great shop. It's always a
welcome.
pleasure. Always a pleasure.
You're a lot of fun. How about you, Greg?
Yeah, same, man. It's always a pleasure being here, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah.
All right.
You inspire me.
Yeah, you inspire me, man. No doubt.
No, you inspire me.
Together, we're all making magic. Look at this. It's a beautiful thing, man.
All right. Last words, Josh?
Last words.
At White Rabbit Magic?
Well, I was going to say, actually, take a look out for, we got some new deals coming up the
Ooh.
pipe.
We have a special running right now that I forgot all about.
Very good. See,
check-
we need to talk about that.
Check your emails. We have a special. You should have gotten an email if you're on our email list. If you're not, sign up at wr-magic.com. But we are running a special. As many of you might know, we have a nonprofit called the House of Magic Foundation for the Arts.
Well, you do. I don't. I volunteer there, but you're the one who's the president.
We all kind of volunteer there.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you. Julie and I founded this, and it's
Hence,
about
I don't
bringing-
actually own anything over there, so I tend to stay
Well, the
away.
House of Magic is not owned by anyone because it's a nonprofit.
Okay, fine.
So, but anyways, we do a lot of performing arts type classes and things of that nature.
And they really like to
Um,
feature their son, who goes and he has his own magic shop right over here.
Not true. But we do after school programs and homeschool groups and things like that, and we do rely heavily on donations. So because Joshua has the magic shop along with my wife, we are running a special that if you donate $250, it's all in this email. There's buttons there for it. If you donate $250 to the House of Magic, you will get a $350 gift card to White Rabbit Magic.
Because I'm so generous.
Yes. If you donate $500, you will get a $750 gift card. And if you donate $1,000, you will get $1,500 gift card to White Rabbit Magic.
You can't go wrong.
So it is very generous offer. And your deduction or your donation is a tax deductible donation because you are making a charitable donation to a nonprofit. It's White Rabbit that is out of the generosity of their heart giving you a gift card. So the two are not connected really.
Well, I mean, it's a good cause anyway. It's keeping the arts alive. It's keeping the magic alive. So why not?
And it's keeping your mom and dad in a home.
Well, I mean, I didn't think you guys were that old, so we were going to have that conversation later because mom's still taking care of you. I felt like, oh, well, I'll let her do that
We
for a
don't
little
leave the
while.
home right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
home later.
So anyways, check that out. And we are going to be running a Black Friday and a Small Business Saturday and a Cyber Monday deal.
Actually, the whole weekend, really. It's going to be a whole deal involving all three of those days and Sunday.
Yeah. So we'll be back.
Take a
next
look out
week.
for it.
Yeah, we'll be back next week to that. That gift card offer, by the way, expires on Friday. So if you want to take advantage of that, check your email, and you'll get a nice little gift card in return. Anything else?
Excellent.
I think that was it.
All right. So remember, at White Rabbit Magic.
We believe in magic.
Wait.
We got it. We know what we're doing.
Where were you?
He's just
Did
chilling
I
out.
mention that I came home the other day? My wife from the doctor's office. Let's go again.
Okay. So, and remember, at White Rabbit Magic.
We believe in magic.
This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.